This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back, everyone. She has this ability to see things that the rest of us don't see. She sees energy. She sees, I would say, some spiritual things around us. Pretty fascinating. We're going to get a little more insight on that today. And that information from what she sees can help you pilot forward in terms of what you're looking to achieve, maybe get some answers. You got questions, she's got answers. She is Chakra Shelli Bowen back with us. All of this comes down to helping us heal, and that's what she does. Welcome. How are you doing today?
Morning, Steve. Really well, thank you.
So in the times that we've gotten together, you have showed us drawings. You made a drawing of me and then what you see around me. Also, deep insight in terms of energy and understanding chakras, what they are. Call them energy centers within our body for anybody that's not totally sure. And today we're going to look at essentially what you look at, what you see when you have somebody in front of you. Does this happen for all people? Do you see somebody's energy, their aura, if you will, around them? Everybody.
I do. I mean, mine, I can shut it off and then turn it back on. Sometimes it turns on in a big crowd. That way I know not to go into a big crowd on that particular day if I'm really feeling it. But I believe that all of us have access to what I can see and do, and they actually have names and explanations behind these senses. They're extra senses. We can see, we can smell, we can hear, we can taste, but we also have the clairs. And I just want to input something significant, that everything, I believe that everything in the universe is interconnected, everything. And so
when you say interconnected, how do you mean?
For example, like there's the Birkeland currents out in the cosmos, in the universe, that now this is science. This isn't anything woo-woo and senses, but this is real stuff. And they're called Birkeland currents, and they are massive invisible electrical cables in space that connect to the Earth's atmosphere, to the magnetic field of the sun. They are the primary engine behind the aurora borealis, the northern lights. So when we see the northern lights is a direct result of this Birkeland current. And it's very interesting. I recommend to those listening to Google it at some point, when they have a quiet time, because it's what helps make up our universe, our world, our solar system.
So I want to make sure I get that right. The northern lights that we see, obviously that's some kind of cosmic energy going on there, that's illuminated by the sun, depending on where you are. What is actually going on there? What can you tell us? What do you feel from that?
So it's these currents that are the aurora borealis, the northern lights, are they call it electromagnetic field. It's happening as a direct result of the Birkeland currents, which they look like ropes. And in fact, that's when I bring this in. It looks like a pumpkin. I spotted it at a crystal shop in the back. Nobody was using it, and I spotted that. Oh my heck, that's what I see around people. And then as I started looking into it through others, doctorates that have spent their lives studying, they've come up with explanations as well. They call this an apple. So they say the Birkeland current or the auric field is shaped just like this, where it looks like a pumpkin, but through our core of our body right here, these energies And I'm using this to explain what the Birkeland current is because it does the exact same thing out in the cosmos, out in the universe. And then as a direct result of it doing this, it sends down energy towards us that swoops back up. And it is the aurora borealis or the northern lights was what we're seeing. And I guess I could say that they form the Earth's magnetic field down into a high latitude iosphere is what they call it, which are the northern lights. So I think I said that
Mhm.
example good enough, just that it's sending these gases, these energies, these electromagnetic energies down in towards the Earth. And that's where we see the greens and the lavenders and the beautiful colors of the northern lights. But we ourselves, so this is happening in outer space. This actually is happening in the Earth as well. So for example, our Earth has a North Pole and a South Pole. And pretend the Earth's sitting in the middle of this figure here, where the core is. It also has these energies that come right up through it, the Earth, up through, out of the top of the North Pole, out and around, and down to the South Pole, come right up the center of the Earth. So we have the North Pole and the South Pole as a direct result of these electromagnetic fields. And that's kind of how I started out, that everything in the universe is interconnected. We have these similarities. They are rules of thumb. They are energy. Everything is energy, but it's so enlightening to take a closer look at what's happening.
This explains what you're seeing, and you've described it before. You gave an example for me, and you see a certain color. Do you often see the same? Let's say you see it on somebody. Let's say you see purple predominantly in their aura. Do you always see the same color when you look at somebody? Like, let's say a week later?
It depends. So I'm going to show you this. Someone else can see. Apparently, I spotted this and had it cut it out and had it laminated. Thought, oh my heck, somebody else can see what I can see. But it. So I would compare the colors to what's happening in this torus, this field of energy, magnetic field. But what I see is. So people, I've noticed for me, what I can see is that no two people are alike, other than everybody usually does have a light lavender field within the bands of their aura. So, and depending on if the person's been praying or meditating, I can see if it's thick. So if it's thick, the other day you had a really thick aura. And I mentioned it to you. You said, yeah, I've been meditating just before I got on here today. I've meditated twice. So that was just strong, thick around you. But most everybody I can see a little teeny bit around the lining of their body, a lavender. But then from there, of course, the feeling body comes on. If you got feelings going on, then that shoots out other colors.
So I'm going to ask you what you see around me. And the reason I'm doing that is my frame of mind. I want a reference point so I can correlate. Oh, there's a difference there. Is it different today? What are you seeing?
So today I can see a blue, really blue, purple. And it has to do with, I don't know. I feel like that there's a lot of hustle and bustle going on outside. Uh, and that the feelings of course, the holiday, but I can see a purple blue, which I think is tying into your crown chakra. So I'm, this would be explained good by, and yeah, I see you as being more calm. that blue is tying you into, for whatever reason, being more calm. I don't know if you've, been practicing breathing a certain way to help yourself relax.
So I'm going to jump in right now. And there's a reason I asked you to do this. You're right. You're right. And, holidays and schedule and, craziness. I woke up today feeling, got to manage, got some extra time. I even text some friends like, I'm, having a good day, just relaxing, getting things done, not stressing out. Um, have time set up, looking ahead to the week. I'm going to budget some time just for some peace, relaxation, and things I never do. Um, Spot on. And that is why I asked you, because normally I'm like, and you would not know. You don't pick it. Yeah, how are you going to know? But that is right. It's kind of cool. Wow, interesting. Huh. How do you know what the colors mean? Like when you see a certain color, what does it correlate to? How do you know?
Well, now this is where I want to bring on. I spent my morning writing. This is all handwriting. It helps relax me when I write things down. But I wrote quite a bit. I grabbed out my thoughts, automatic writing, they call it. But I wanted to read to you about the clairs. These are the equivalent of our five senses and beyond. So we know we've got eyesight, we can see, we can smell, we can hear, we can taste, we can feel, so on and so forth. But we also have our clairs. And to start at the top, there's the clairvoyance. So clear seeing. I've got this. I can see. Seeing an image, symbol, or colors in the mind. That's, if you look it up, that is the legal description, so to speak, correct description of what it is to have clairvoyance, that seeing an image. So I can see colors. And then there's the clairaudience. That's the hearing a voice, often your own, or sounds in your head. So I can hear angels, and I start out my day with saying love or above.
Hmm.
And I believe in angels, so I'll bring in Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, so on, Metatron, so on and so forth,
Hmm.
to help. If I hear things, it better be love or above, because that's what I believe in. But anyway, then there's the clairsentience, and that's a clear feeling. So I've literally walked into rooms before and felt like something was going down. It saved my life a couple of times.
Wow.
And oh yeah, the clear feeling someone else's emotions or physical pain. That was a little hardcore. That's when I started learning to know how to buffer people's feelings, because I'm a retired nurse. In my younger years, I was home health. So anyway, I go into people's homes, take their vital signs, so on and so forth, do whatever the doctor wanted me to do. And at night I get called out on the ambulance and work in the ER. So I literally had to find ways to block being able to feel, people are feeling to that extent,
Well, can
because
I
I
just
get
share
sick.
one thing with you based on what you said? I wasn't aware that you've done nursing and in the medical professional field. I knew someone a few years ago, and she's a nurse, in-home nurse, right? And she, yeah, maybe three different patients, different days of the week, very connected to them, like they were family. Every third day, she would have to take off from work, and she's like, getting sick again. I'm drained. I don't know. Like I said, do you realize that you're an empath, and you're taking on their energy? For a good reason. You want to help them, but it's pulling you down. No, I'm not. I don't know, Les. That's what's going on. It's exactly what's going on. She wouldn't accept it. She didn't realize it.
But she was blessed to have you point that out. I didn't have anybody back in those days, that uh, to help point things out to me. And I've
Mm.
been diagnosed with fibromyalgia and stuff, but anyway, that's a whole other something. I believe that being able to clear your field, but also what you eat. For me, I became a vegetarian, sometimes vegan, lots of water, zero soda pops. I do the yoga, I do meditation, so all of it applies. But back to the Claire's. But yeah, she was blessed to have you point that out because you were spot on. That is correct. Big deal, big deal.
And one other thing, I'm very transparent. I just, happened to meet her. We became friends, would hang out together for probably about 6 months. And during that 6 months, had a lot going on. And in addition, I needed radiation for skin cancer on my face, all healed now. I let it go. And one day I was at her place watering plants. She comes in from work. She's like, "Oh my God, look at your face. Let me help you out with that." And put dressings on it and everything. And it was years later. This is 3 years ago. So last year, it dawned on me, oh, that's why she was in my life, for me to help her. And then she helped me in that capacity. Never even realized it, but that's why she was there. Truly
I
believe it.
like it. Yes, Steve. So people can't see me maybe, but very good. But I believe in energy, and we go like this. This may be me, this may be you, or somebody else, two people, and we're going doing our own lives, and all of a sudden, we connect because the energies align. You know, the energies align. We're able to exchange. It's not happening to me; it's happening for me,
Hmm.
type thing.
Yep.
And so yeah.
Wow.
But
I never thought of it that way. How the energy, it's a vibration, so it's always vibrating. If somebody's listening and can't see us, if you take your two hands as if, you're just wafting air in between the two hands, but when they come together, the energy meets. Now you're on the same wavelength as the other person, and a connection takes place.
big deal. Yes,
Mhm.
exactly.
Wow. Tell
Well
us
put.
about the voyants or the clairs. I'm sorry, because I always connect it with clairvoyant. That's the only one I know. There's lots of other clairs out there.
And the other day I overheard a conversation where somebody was asking about how do I get better at claircognizance? Well, claircognizance is clear knowing. You just know. And I have a lot of this. I've had downloads, and they explain it that a sudden download of information, knowing something is true without proof. Why this information fits my book. I would bring this up real quick is that I have a book entitled Crystals, Earth, and Soul Technology. Well, crystals act as a hardware, storing and amplifying images. Earth provides the network, the magnetic field, the Birkeland currents we discussed. And then clairvoyance is the monitor that allows the human soul to see data being transmitted. And then here's a fun fact, I think. Most people are naturally stronger in one of the clairs than another. Some people feel the world, the clairsentience, feeling what everybody's going through, while others see. They can see, the auric field, or they can see colors around somebody, and or can see spirits, angels, so on and so forth. We hear stories, that they have that particular clair. But the other day, someone was asking about claircognizance. How can I get better at it? And this world-renowned psychic said, you need to strengthen your clairaudience, strengthen through practice, strengthen your clairsentience, being able to clear feeling or clear hearing or clear seeing. And then by doing these strengthening particular clairs, it will be like a dominoes effect where it affects, that clear cognizant where
Mm.
you just know.
Um, I get what you're saying, and I feel that I've practiced this in the last number of years to tune into that, just the intuition. And even today, things are a little more relaxed. It's kind of weird. Um, But I find when we are less crazy and stressed and just, the fight or flight and God, we don't even know we're doing it, but we're doing it. You can't receive that information. You can't. It just, little pieces and then you question it as opposed to when you just tap the brakes and just let it all come to you, it comes clear. It's almost like somebody whispering in your ear. And I was actually going to text my friend. I saw him this morning, worked out at the gym very early in the morning. I went grocery shopping early. I never do that. I flipped it all around today. And now I'm like in a better, chilled vibe. But now I'm picking up on things. It's kind of weird, but life gets in the way. Technology, uh, while it's a blessing, that gets in the way. All of this other stuff. Do you think that's really what's going on? Why we're not really utilizing our intuition to the full extent?
I feel like we start out at almost as soon as we hit the ground, right after birth, or as soon as we
Mm,
start being able to talk, society, our parents, the community, depending on where you live in the world, of course, all the elements apply, but still, usually you get set straight. You try to bring up what you can see. Here comes that yellow lady I used to say to my mother. She's like, "What?" And I said, "Yeah, the one that's yellow." I remember just a little kid, and she says, "No, it's not. Don't talk about stuff like that." But you do. And then I went to church in my later years, and I got pulled aside several times by the church ladies saying, "Shelli, come here. You don't talk about things like that. Only the prophet can." you know and
mm.
stuff, so it's our society. So yeah, we usually get shut down, but with the blessing of the particular moment in time we live now is that we can talk about stuff, and the internet is applied to this. We were able to access information, whereas before, for thousands of years, you couldn't, no matter how much you paid, you couldn't access certain information. And there was the iron heavy feeling of society but now it's become accessible. We have the internet, we have this knowledge opening up to us, special dispensation of time.
Mm. It is kind of exciting that we have that technology where we can verify things where, yeah, hundreds of years ago, if not more, they couldn't do it. Things you wonder about. I heard somebody talking about chakras. What are they? You can instantly look it up and maybe connect it to yourself. Um, it's going to be a broad question. We're heading into the holidays, got a new year coming up here. What are you energetically feeling for 2026? Anything coming up for you? Just broadly for all of us?
So I'd start with today, yesterday and today. The 21st and 22nd are the, winter solstice. And so we have, and we had the new moon, back to the moon, me, but still,
Yeah.
the moon helps us feel lighthearted. So no matter how much heavy stuff is going on and static energy, the new moon brings in new beginnings. It's a quiet, restful time for the soul. You become aligned with the solar system that's there to soothe and to guide and all the positive, uplifting things. And then we have the beginning of the year coming up, this winter. Yes, last night we had the shortest, darkest day of the year. Well, that helps also. It's a reset. We're right in the middle of a big deal reset. I personally believe that it's taken us quite a while to get to where we are now. As far as mankind, I know, has evolved to such a degree that we are capable of realizing and accepting that we're, number one, not the only ones in the cosmos. We have other intelligent beings, that I just want to say that intelligent beings that know how to go, you know, get in and out of different solar systems and come to Earth and leave. If they were the type that wanted to harm, they had the technology to do it a long, long, long time ago, even now. So we know for a fact actions speak louder than words, that we have access to higher intelligence. We belong to a community of, planets, universe, many solar systems, so on and so forth. I mean, that's where what I foresee, that we become this next few years, this next year and so on, more, tied into a higher intelligence. And that is a direct result of that energy that we are capable of it. We're going like this, as a human, Homo sapiens sapien, and we've got a lot of good attributes, but we could do, and then we're right there with higher intelligence now and then. And if we can feel positive energy about that and be proud of who we are as human sentient beings, then stand tall and know that science shows us, another actions speak louder than words, that we're going to excel scientifically in the next few years at an alarming rate, but that to trust the process. Trust the process.
I feel in the same line that you are, and I'm not the expert, but also the collective consciousness. Now we're all finally, when I say all, more than ever, not all of us, but more, are open to this, open to understanding that, yeah, there's higher stuff out there, whatever it is, that there's, a shift going on here. And we're looking for something. We're looking for an answer, change, something to make us feel better, better connected. Many times, doc, I don't know what's going on. You go to the doctor, you got some symptoms. Why do you have symptoms? Because you're off, you're misaligned, and then they throw you some pills. It's a place for medication, sure. Maybe there's other things like getting grounded, going out into nature, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I think we're open to it now.
It's a big deal, big deal. Real quick, I want to show you this because I know for the next few years forward, starting now, forward as a collective, we are going into the heart chakra. So each chakra, each dispensation of time, we've been through the root chakra dispensation of time, mental, physical. We went to the sacral chakra, mental, physical. We went to the solar plexus where we, formed countries and states and asserted ourselves as personal power, solar plexus. But we have elevated to such a state right now that we are the heart chakra. And let me read to you real quick. The heart, picture your body, and right here's your heart. Here's the body, the torso. Here's the heart. And it generates this electromagnetic energy. That's proven. This is science. Goes up out of our head and around, and it gets this toroidal energy. But the heart is called the Heart Math Institute, has found that the heart generates the largest electromagnetic field in the body. The heart field is often mapped as a torus. That's what I just showed you, that middle piece, that extends several feet away from the body, acting as a buffer or an antenna that interacts with the environment. It interacts with the environment. And anyway, interesting to note that the torus has no edges and it's around the earth as well. They call it everything in the universe is interconnected through these repeating electrical patterns.
Wow. It's about time that we focus on the heart, because a lot of times we focus on the head, and that's where it goes wrong. even in terms of manifestation. Yeah, I want. No, it's got to come from the heart. Yeah. Oof. All right. We're a little woo today, but for a good reason, because it's answers to what's going on here. And you can guide someone. You can read their auric field, provide a drawing, insight on all of this. How do we connect with you, Shelli?
I have a website, CHAKRASHELLIHEALS.com, or I'm Shelli Bowen on Facebook. you can text and set up an appointment through 435-327-1197. I always like to say, let me help you find your happy place. Let me show you and teach skills. I have a lot of skills that I can share that set you back up on your feet or get you to a place that you didn't realize was there. I can see it. It's a knowing.
All this energy stuff took me years to figure out, and you validated and explained it in these podcasts in 25 minutes. So, let's ramp up, people. Thank you for today and the insight. And I'm never going to forget love and above. Love and above. Appreciate it, Shelli. Happy holidays to you and yours, and we'll catch up soon.
I'd like that.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
You too. We'll be right back.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.